Hey everyone, welcome to the second part. So in the first video, we finished modeling this kitchen. And if you can remember, we had some problem with the dimensions of these cabinets. So they weren't accurate. But after finishing that video, I have actually fixed this model. So we have two extra doors on each side right now. And I've actually swapped these models with the one that we had in the previous video because I think these are looking better. And if you go to your Cosmos browser, then in 3D models and I think accessories and electronics and appliances, you can find this oven and this microwave. So basically these are the changes. Other than that, I haven't touched anything else. Right? I've already actually downloaded some textures where you can find in the package after downloading this. And we're going to use these. I couldn't find the exact same textures that we have here, but they're quite similar. And these are the free ones that I can share and you can download also. So that's why we're going with a slightly different type of textures here. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we need to open up our material editor, either by clicking on this button here or pressing the M key on your keyboard. And we're going to create a Corona physical material. So we're going to create these one by one. So let's start with the marble. I'm going to create a Corona bitmap. And let's go into the marble folder and we have the color here or the diffuse texture. And we're going to use this as our base color. Before doing anything else, let's adjust also the size of these textures. So this one, if I open it up, I believe this could be something like 4 by 4 meters or even bigger, maybe 6 meters by 6 meters. So let's enable use real world scale here and go with 6 meters by 6 meters for now. We can always adjust this later. And we have also a roughness map for this, and we can just hold shift and create a copy. Just hold shift, click, drag and drop, and you can make a copy out of your texture. So let's go ahead and load our roughness map. And roughness maps, normal maps, EXR textures, TX, and also HDRs, they're all linear images. So you need to make sure that to change the color space from down here. While this is selected, I'm going to color space and I'm going to use scene linear here. Okay. And we can just simply plug this into our base roughness. Now let's make a copy out of this. And this time we're going to create the wood. So click here, load map. And this time we're going to the wood folder here. And I'm going to use this color as my diffuse map. The size, as you probably saw, this one is not a square, this one is rectangle. So we're going to use 2 meters by 1 meter here. And for the roughness as well, let's go to this folder and select this. This one is also going to be 2 by, actually this one, for some reason, the orientation is different. Oh, that's only in the preview. So forget what I just said. So 2 meters by 1 meter and goes to the base roughness. Let's make sure that we've checked the scene linear here. All right. And for the bump also, I can just load this map and we have the bump map here. This one is also linear. So let's pick this. And whenever we're using a normal map for our bump, this needs to go through a Corona normal. You cannot just plug it straight to your material. It needs to go through a Corona normal. Then this one goes to base bump. Okay, let's create a new one this time. And for the base color, I'm gonna go with this plaster texture. That's our color. Make a copy. Let's load our roughness map in a linear space. This one goes to roughness, and let's make a copy again. This time we're going to use the normal, and let's make it linear. As I said, this needs to go through a corona normal. And then we can plug this to our base bump right there. The size for this one is going to be, let's say 150 by 150. We can always come back and change these, so don't worry about that. All right, I think we have one more left. Corona bitmap, and it's gonna be the travertine. Here's the color. This one, I'm gonna make it 200 by 200. All right, copy. And we're going to use the normal. Let's make it linear. Let's plug it into our corona normal map here and use it as our base bump. All right, and we need the roughness as well. So let's load from here, check the roughness, and go with linear again. And this one goes to base roughness. All right, so now we can apply these materials to the surfaces here. So we have the plaster that goes for the ceiling and the walls. Okay. Let's apply a UVW map also. So basically with UVW map, you can tell 3ds Max how to map these textures on your geometry. So basically we've already given the size to our max, so we don't have to do anything here. We can just go with box mapping and use real world map size. That's it. All right. Actually, this is the stone. That's the plaster. Okay. Next one is going to be the floor. We're going to apply this material, UVW map, box, and real world. All right. Then we have this countertop, and we can just apply this stone material to it and add another UVW map with box mapping, real world map size. And finally, we have the wood material. All right, that's all of them. Let's apply the wood material. But here, the thing is, for these guys, I'm going to make them vertical. So UVW map, box, real world, and I'm going to make this vertical. So let's select this UVW map, the gizmo, and we can rotate it by 90 degrees. Also on the side. All right. But for this one, I'm going to make it horizontal. All right. We need to rotate it by 90 degrees here, so it looks accurate on the edges as well. Perfect. All right, so we have the basic materials here, and now we can go ahead and start refining them. Actually, for the floor, if you can remember, I told you that we can go ahead and create a floor generator. So floor generator is actually a free, let me just find it. It's a free plugin for 3ds Max, and you can get it from CG Source. Come here, floor generator. You need to log in, and then you can download it from here after logging in, and you can just drop it into the plugin folder of your 3ds Max, restart your Max, and you're going to have it as a modifier here. Basically, we need to create one plane here. you cannot apply it to three-dimensional geometries. It should be only like splines or planes like this, or it could be like a rectangle, a shape. I don't need any of the segments, so I'm going to just get rid of them and apply a floor generator here. So basically, if you can see in these images, the tiles, the longer side is towards the window. So I need to rotate this by 90 degrees, and I can do that from general direction. I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. Then maybe we can go with tiles by like 60 centimeters to 40 centimeters, something like that. All right, let's have these joints right in the middle. So in the offset, I can go with 50, and it will put these joints right in the middle. I don't need that much of an extrude. Maybe 1 millimeter is enough. Don't need that much of a bevel either. So I'm gonna go with 1 millimeter again. And the gap is also unnecessary. So maybe we can just go with a 0. All right, now let's apply this stone material to this as well and give it a UVW map, real world, and box. And it needs to be rotated by 90 degrees. Okay, now that we have the base materials, we can just create a very normal V-Ray sun so we can test out what we have. And from the toolbar here, you can create a V-Ray Corona Sun, or you can go to Create, Lights, Corona, and we have Corona Sun here. And I would just simply create it in the scene. We'll just bring it all the way up to here. And from the Modify tab, while this is selected, we can add a Corona Sky to our environment. All right? Every great render starts with a clear workflow, from the first polygon to the final frame. In this course, I'll guide you through that entire journey. You will learn the complete ArchViz pipeline: modeling, materials, lighting, cameras, and post-production, all inside one structured 66-lesson project. Join DHM Studio VIP course and take your ArchViz skills and your career to the next level. Now if we go inside, like here, we can start probably with the floor. So let's run an interactive render. I'm gonna actually save this scene also. So the first time you run your render, you can see this error, and that's because we're using OCIO here, okay? If you were using Gamma, you wouldn't have this error, but it's coming up because you're using ACES twice. So we have the ACES from the color management, and we have this ACES output transform, which is not like real. It's like a lookup table. When you're using Gamma workflow, you can just check this one and it will just turn it to kind of an ACES looking render, but we don't need it anymore. So I'm going to just disable it here. I'm going to just go ahead and remove it as well. So basically this is way too bright. I'm going to just make it darker. And let's make it a bit bigger. Also, I'm going to make it a square format. So let's go with custom and make this one. So we have a square render. All right. I'm going to just zoom in here to see what we have. Okay, let's just render this region. I would like to get some more reflection here. This is looking pretty matte. So let's go to Material Editor. And since we're using roughness and we're using a texture, this texture is kind of gray. If I want to get more reflection here, I need to make this darker. And if I want to get more like a matte finish, I need to make it brighter. So here we need to get more reflection. So I'm going to add a color correction here, general color correction. And I'm going to just put it right in the middle here. So I can make this texture a bit darker. Can select that, go to advanced mode, and I can decrease the gamma contrast. And just like that, I'll get more reflection here. Let's just go a little bit back. Maybe that's too much. Let's go with 0.7. Yeah, that's more like it. I think that's okay. I just want to make the stone itself also a bit brighter, so I can just add another color correction here. General color correction. Let's put it there. This time I just want this to work on the diffuse map, so I'm going to just put it right in the middle of its way. And on the advanced mode, I will just increase the gamma value a little bit. All right, now we can actually see some details in the stone. There's another problem here. So as you can see, this stone is kind of continuous from one to another tile. We don't want it to be like this. We want it to be randomized. And to randomize that, we need to apply another map here. So let's go to Maps, Corona, and Corona Mapping Randomizer. We need to put it right here on its way, right? And I can randomize this map based on each tile that I have. So this is one tile, that's another, that's another. I'm going to select this, and I want to randomize these by mesh elements. This is one element, that's one element, so each one of these are one element. And then I'm going to offset the texture in each and every one of these elements. Let's go from 0 to 1 on X and 0 to 1 on Y as well. And you can see like this pattern is not continuous to the next one. You can see that this one is finished also here. So each element here has a different UV right now. But the thing is, we need to copy this for the rest of these maps that we have. So let's create a copy. I'm going to unplug it from here, create one for this one, create another one for that guy. So this one goes here, and that one also goes there. All right, that's our floor. Now let's see how this wood is looking. I think the reflection is looking okay. Maybe we got a bit of bump that is not necessary. We can have like a flatter surface here. So let's go to our wood. Also, we need to randomize this one as well, but I'm going to do that later. So let's go to the material and let's decrease the bump a little. Let's go with 0.3. I don't know if you can see it properly with the YouTube compression and everything. I don't know if you can see this very like a sharp image, but I think this is looking better now. It needs to look flat. All right. If you want to get more reflection, again, we can add another map, general color correction. And we can make it darker, but let's see how it looks. 0.8. I mean, not bad. Yeah, I'm going to keep it like this because if you can see here, we also have some sort of a reflection kind of similar to that. And maybe we can just change the color a bit. So let's add another color correction from maps, general color correction. Let's put it there. I'm going to make it a little bit less colorful, a bit desaturated. and maybe a touch darker. So let's go with 0.85. Okay, that's fine. Let's have a look at our ceiling as well. Well, I think it has too much texture and it should be like a bit simpler than that. So let's pick this material, and that's an easy fix. I can just go to my maps down here, and on the base color, I can tell 3ds Max or Corona to use 50% of the texture and another 50% from this color, right? So 50% from texture, 50% from the color. So if I make this a bit brighter, you can see that we don't have that much of a texture in it anymore, and it looks flatter. And I guess that is good. Then what else is left? This one. I would say this is good as is. I'm not gonna touch it. And let's have a whole render to see the whole thing again. Also, we need to apply another material for this. These are pretty simple materials. I'm not gonna make it complicated, but you can go in depth as much as you want. I think these are okay. We just need to apply a black metal to these door handles, and I guess that will be it. So let's select all of them. I'm gonna just select one, and with Control Shift and A, I can select all the similar objects. Everything except this guy. Let's create another Corona material. And this is gonna be a metal, so let's make it metal here. Gonna be somehow a bit darker. And I'm gonna go lower with the roughness. Something like this, maybe a bit brighter. Yeah. All right, let's apply this. And I'm gonna make a brighter version and apply it to the sink. Maybe even with less roughness. Yeah. All right, I believe everything has material now. And we can add a couple of extra objects here. And I think the only thing we can add here now is going to be a curtain. So let's add a curtain, and we can work on that material as well. Let's go here, look for a curtain. And this normal, simple curtain can go here. So if you see in these previews, on the backside or here, it's covered all with curtains, and we can do the same thing. Goes here. I'm gonna make it a bit shorter, and I'm not sure if we're going to render this side, but for now I'm just gonna make a few copies and cover this whole area with curtains. This one is not necessary. And maybe we can actually have one on this side as well. Or maybe two. Let's mirror this, make a copy, and put it right there. We need to adjust the model for this also. So we need to make a gap here and put the curtain. The curtain needs to go inside the ceiling, right? And that would be an easy fix. We need to just select this ring, create one segment here. Gonna bring it here and on the other side as well. Let's select this ring, create one segment. Let's put it right there. From the top view, it's better. Let's put it right here. And there's another one that goes somewhere around there. On this side, let's make sure that this is accurate. So could be somewhere around here, actually. All right, so on the back side, we can just select these. Actually, we need one more segment close to this wall and another one close to the other one. Now select all the polygons. Hold Shift and move it up. Something like this. And we're going to do the same thing for this side. So this polygon, this and that. We need to create one more segment here. So let's select this ring, create one segment, and bring it to this corner. Okay, so this polygon, this. Yeah. Let's hold Shift and move it up to here. All right, so let's run another render and we can fix the material for the curtain as well. All right, to make it look a bit more natural, like what we have here, where you can see what's happening outside, we need to pick the material first. This is going to be an easy fix also. All right. Let's go to our translucency here, see what we got. So I'm going to increase this number to something like 0.5 and make this white. But I'm going to add a fall off here to our translucency color. So right here to the color, I'm going to add a fall off map, right? And I'm going to add 1 point on the curve. Bring it all the way up to here, make it Bezier smooth. Now we'll select both of these points together and bring them down. So we have the dark parts and we have the bright parts as well here. And we can just make a copy out of this and use it for our opacity also, where you can actually see what's behind the curtain. Now we cannot see, like for instance, this line here, we cannot see it. But if I drop this into my opacity, I'll be able to see what's going on back there. And I can actually go into my maps and bring down this amount so we can have a balance of what we can see and what we cannot see. If you go higher, you can see more. If you go lower, you can see less. Let's keep it on 10. All right, I believe everything has material and we're actually ready to start the lighting process. All right, so thank you for watching this one. I'll see you in the next video.